Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Having Notions podcast. Where, what do we do here? We each select a subject to talk about for an hour and a half, and hopefully something interesting happens.
We didn't rehearse this intro. I had no
We
idea.
don't have this written down, no.
I had no idea where you were going with that because like the intro was something else in my head.
Uh,
Okay.
I guess we have different versions of it, don't we?
You know what? Let's just keep it that way. Just spitball. Let's go.
Okay, and today is a very special episode because we are starting a new segment already. 3 episodes in, we're already creating segments. And this one is called The Angry Dome.
We have teased this in the first 2 episodes of this already. You may have heard me mentioning it because I don't know. I have to shut the fuck up and keep things a secret. But yeah, do you want to explain what the Angry Dome is?
So, The Angry Dome, appropriately named after the gag in Futurama, where Farnsworth just gets inside a big dome and is angry for until he's not angry anymore. And this is basically what we do, except there's no dome. There's the podcast where we each select a topic that we like to vent about. It's not anything serious. We're not gonna.
Oh no.
We want to keep this podcast nice and light-hearted. We're not here to get into very serious topics. We just pick typically kind of first world problem stuff or just little petty things that kind of annoy us that ultimately have no consequence.
Yeah.
But it's just a way for us to vent, and hopefully you guys can vent along with us.
We're here to entertain the masses. All three of you that listen to this so far. I see you guys.
You think there's 3 people that listen?
I see the stats, and by that I mean there's 2 of us and our other friend. Hi, if you're listening, but you hopefully are. Anyways, it's your turn to start this week because I stupidly thought it was my turn to start last time, even though upon reviewing episode 1 I actually went first as well. So you know what, it's Brendan's turn to go first finally, so take it away.
I finally get to go first, and
the saying is ladies first, so you know what.
That's true.
Don't.
I could be a lady if I wanted to be. It's 2024.
Don't. Not now. Not now.
Gets cancelled 3 episodes in.
Please, I like doing this. I don't want to do that. I don't want to get cancelled. Like that. Surely that's a record. 3 episodes into something and getting cancelled.
You have to be famous already to get cancelled.
Good thing that we're not.
Anyway, trans lives matter. Just thought I'd cover my ass by saying that I don't actually. I'm not that guy.
We actually do believe in trans rights and,
yeah,
and all the rights.
We support trans rights. Okay. To get into my topic for the Angry Dome, you know, I got bats in the belfry at the moment. I've been thinking about Batman a lot. As someone who lives with me, you can attest to that.
Yes, every third thought is Batman. But then again, I'm guilty of like every third thought being things I like. Like every morning he wakes up. Like I wake up first because I'm more of a morning person than he is. I come into the sitting room, sit down, watch YouTube on the TV. It's always the same YouTubers. He comes in and I just see him die a little bit on the inside. So you know what? I don't blame you.
I feel like die a little bit on the inside is a bit over dramatic.
I see the look on your face. Then again, you're very sleepy, so you
well, it's
don't
in the
know what's
morning.
going on.
Like I haven't even gotten to the toilet by the time I'm.
It's 11 a.m. by the time he wakes up.
It is not 11. I wake up at like 10 and then I sit in bed for a little bit. My work schedule is like I start in the afternoons and I finish at nighttime. So that I'm not like just a layabout. Like.
Anyways, continue.
Anyway, we can get into that another time. So I haven't actually mentioned my Angry Dome topic yet. Yeah, I've been thinking about Batman a lot. And apparently the internet has been thinking about Batman a lot recently as well. Because the discourse has begun again on the idea that Batman beats up poor people and the mentally ill and is a billionaire, which automatically means that he's an asshole. So, I have a lot of thoughts about whether or not this is true. Spoiler alert, it's bullshit. I also have thoughts on where that idea may have come from.
Okay.
But first, as someone who's not a Batman fan,
Mm-hmm.
what is your reaction? How do you feel about that based on your experience, which is basically watching most of the films with me and like just observing it through me, basically.
See, you saying that people are discussing on the internet, they're like, oh, Batman beats up the mentally ill and poor people, blah, blah, blah. I haven't seen any of that. We are on completely opposite sides of the internet.
In fairness, I've only seen this on Twitter and parts of YouTube.
That is because your Twitter's a cesspool. Mine's just the YouTubers that I like. So you know what? I'm having the best time over on Twitter. And as for YouTube, same thing. I'm having the best time.
Yeah, I think I more asked you about it, not necessarily as the discourse, just as the statement itself.
I know. I was getting to that. Anyways, what do I think of it? I don't think it's true. I've seen, I wouldn't say all the Batman movies, but I've seen a lot of them now because of you, which I wouldn't have normally if I didn't know you. So, you know, I've seen a lot of them. I don't think that's true because isn't it the Dark Knight trilogy, I believe? Please don't shoot me if I'm wrong, the internet and you.
I won't. I can't speak for Twitter users, but I won't shoot you for it.
It's fine. We're not on Twitter. The podcast is not on Twitter.
That's true. They haven't found us yet.
Don't. They're gonna hear the call.
Anyway,
they need to cancel us.
What is it in the Dark Knight trilogy that you have thoughts on?
He spends. I'm no. The trilogy's really fuzzy. I don't remember much because it's been a while.
Yeah, you only saw him once, and like a few months ago it was. So.
Might have even been last
over
year.
Over a year actually.
Last year. Let's just say it's last year for argument's sake. It's somewhere in that trilogy where he's like constantly he sets up the Wayne Foundation, or does it already exist? I don't know, but he's pumping all his money into that, and that's helping Gotham. So I don't see that. I don't think he's beating up like the poor. Definitely not the poor people, anyways. Mentally ill. A lot of the criminals are mentally ill, but that's besides the point. He doesn't exclusively go down the streets of Gotham like, you know, cruising along in the Batmobile. Yeah. That guy's very clearly mentally ill. Punch. He doesn't do that. So I don't know why people are all up in arms. You're so happy with me saying this.
Well, to be fair, I was hoping you had more thoughts beyond, because you are kind of just saying what I've already told you about it.
But it's true though. But yeah, other than that, like I don't, my Batman knowledge isn't well rounded. I know what you have shown me.
Yeah, but like I mean, even as someone who's very much like even less than a casual fan, can you even pinpoint any examples where he just beats up poor people because they're like committing crimes because they're poor, or just beating up mentally ill people like right away?
No.
Exactly.
Not one. Like the only time I can imagine that is like, you know, those skits on TikTok is like POV litter in Gotham. That's the like, only time, and that's not canon. Unless it is, but it's not.
And you know, when I'm talking about this, I'm not talking about those guys, because that is hilarious. Like I love those jokes where it's like, oh, you litter in Gotham, or you're hanging around a shop and not buying anything in Gotham, and Batman shows up and kicks the shit out of you. And that's really funny, because it's this like parody version of that.
I think my favorite part is Something in the Way is playing in the background as well, just ever so slightly.
As soon as he comes on screen, it's just like Something in the Way starts playing, and he starts like knocking the shit out of people.
Anyways,
but yeah, I'm not talking about like, I'm not angry at that, because that would make me a sad nerd if I. To an extent,
you hate fun if you hate that.
Yeah, that's just like a funny thing.
Yeah,
it's when people genuinely bring it up as like a criticism, as if it's one valid, and two, like it's this ingenious criticism that only they thought of.
Like, congratulations, you did not think of that yourself. You like, it's not an original thought. Like, even maybe it has crossed my mind like time ago when I was just kind of like, when I watched maybe one movie with you and I was like, does he? No. And I just forgot forever. Like, you're not like, it's not a breakthrough if you think that. Like, everyone else has thought it at least once before you, so you know, you're not special.
Yeah, it's the most surface level criticism, and I will get into more depth, because I know I'm just like, you know, saying random shit right now.
We're 10 minutes in. We've covered nothing.
Exactly. So I will get into, because obviously I'm very well versed in Batman media. I've read a lot of the comic books, I've played a lot of the games, watched pretty much all the movies.
Yeah.
There's very few films that I haven't seen at least once. I've consumed a lot of Batman media, so
He is Batman. He is Batman.
I wish.
I mean,
So I could beat up poor people.
I don't see you coming to bed when I go to bed, so you know what? You could be.
That's true. I do love those memes as well, where it's like
me after I say goodnight.
Yeah, it's like after the girlfriend says goodnight and you just put on a bat suit and just like looking over Gotham City.
That's what my Instagram is.
Anyway, we're getting sidetracked. So, okay. For one thing, I'm going to discount the Burton films because, newsflash, the Tim Burton Batman movies are very poor adaptations of Batman comic books. If you look at interviews with Tim Burton, he admits that he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about when it comes to Batman, and not only does he admit it, but when he does try to talk about what he thinks of Batman, it's like completely just surface level.
I would also like to point out that the Tim Burton Batman movies are my favourite Batman movies, so I
They're
think
really,
that says a lot about me.
They're not bad movies, they're really good movies.
They're pretty movies.
Shit adaptations.
Yeah, like we've had that conversation.
Yeah, as is like Batman versus Superman, like it's a really poor adaptation of the character.
A movie I do not like.
Yeah, you don't like it, and a lot of people don't like it. I do, as an Elseworlds story. So I appreciate that as that, and then the Burton Batman films as Elseworlds stories. But if you're looking for like a genuine adaptation of the character of Batman, the Tim Burton movies and the Zack Snyder movies are not going to do it for you. You're going to look at the Nolan films, which heavily adapt Batman comic books. Matt Reeves' film, which is probably one of the best adaptations, at least live action wise.
It took me a second. It's like, who's that again? Oh wait, it's Robert Bat movie.
Exactly. And then like the animated series and the Arkham games to an extent, but I'll get into those in a second. So yeah, the Tim Burton Batman movies are not good representation. He's a massive murderer, and he does just beat the shit out of people. Like he says to the Joker in the climax, "I'm going to kill you," and he pretty much does. You could argue whether that it's an accident, but Batman definitely makes no attempt to save him, and he also burns people alive. He laughs in the face of a guy that he's about to blow up with a bomb.
Some hero.
Yeah, he's a hero. So, really great films. I watch Batman Returns every Christmas, but really poor adaptations of the character. Any good adaptation of Batman or the original Batman comic books, save a few probably Elseworlds stories, or the Batman media that actively criticizes this idea, they all handle it really, really well. And Batman does not just beat up the poor and the mentally ill, because like I've heard criticisms like who does Batman like hunt? Like he hunts like purse snatchers and people robbing people, and they do that out of necessity, so Batman's just beating the shit out of them. Outside of the Burton films, give me an example where he just, as soon as someone is about to do a purse snatching or rob somebody, does he just absolutely knock the shit out of them?
No, he doesn't knock the shit out of them, but I think it's one of the what's that animated series episode, the Christmas one? Christmas with the Joker, when they're patrolling, like he thought someone was about to rob like this old woman, but like he doesn't knock the shit out of him. Like, well,
the idea is he shows up and then the kid turns out to not be somebody robbing the woman, but somebody who's providing a service. He's the kid in that episode, the woman had dropped a Christmas present she was buying, and he hands it back to her and says, "Look, you dropped this, have it back," and then they just part ways, and Batman doesn't do anything because Batman would be insane if he just like went in and started beating the shit out of someone that he thought was going to rob somebody.
Yeah.
And almost any time when he does go after these people, he gives them a chance to stop what they're doing. He never throws a punch until they throw the first punch.
Yeah.
and he always handcuffs them and leaves them for the police. Because that's another thing. People say, oh, Batman beats people within an inch of his life. He does not. And the reasoning behind why I think people think that is the Arkham games. I love the Arkham games.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite Batman media, I play them all the time. I play through the stories of all of them many, many times. I'm doing it right now.
Not to mention, he's also making me play them.
I'm making you play one of them.
Yeah,
but then,
I wouldn't play all of them, I'm sorry.
well, the idea is that we're playing each other's games.
Yeah.
That's just something that we like to do together. We play each other's favorite games. I'm getting a phone call.
He is getting a phone call. Let's listen in to the phone call, shall
taking...
we?
Do you want to keep the recording going, or do you want to stop it?
Just keep recording and just take a note of the time when you're back.
I have a note of the time when I'm taking.
What is it though?
Oh, fuck. I have a note of the time when I got the phone call, and I'll take a note of the time when I come back.
Okay, be quick. Time to go back to playing Candy Crush while Brendan's gone doing something. Woo! Something in the way. Yeah. Ooh. Something. And he's back, people. And we're back. Only 2 minutes. Okay, I'm in control. I would like the people to know I'm in control of editing these, so I may leave in snippets about what I was doing while he was gone.
Okay.
We're back.
So the Arkham games.
Yes.
Fantastic games. Love them. I love the stories of them. I think they're spiritual successors to the animated series. However, I'm out of breath.
He ran up them stairs.
However, I do think that is a big reason why people think that Batman beats people up, like, just right out the gate.
Yeah.
Because it's a video game, and you need to be able to beat people up in a character action game like Batman.
Mm-hmm. Can I interject as
yes.
well? Another reason people might see it that way is because I see a lot of memes. I'm chronically online. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I'm constantly on Instagram, Twitter, whatever. I see people shitpost and I see people making memes. I've been seeing a lot of memes on Instagram and TikTok, and it'd be like someone in a very uncomfortable position, like arched back like over a shopping trolley or something, or like wedged in a shopping trolley, and the caption on it would be like, oh, Batman would be leaving people like this and expect them to talk. It's like,
yeah, and
I can see why people might think that.
That also comes from the games.
Yeah.
Where Batman does that, and he does it in the Telltale games as well. But the Telltale games actively criticize that aspect of his character, and I won't get into those too much because I've only played through them like twice, and it was years ago, so I can't fully remember. But I think those memes also come from, like, originate in the Arkham games, like, and yeah, I think that definitely goes a long way to influencing people on their view of the Batman character, and just the fact that, okay, when it's someone like you who's like a casual fan,
not even,
and
go on.
Yeah, like not even a casual fan, and you just think of it because of, you know, the memes in the internet culture.
Yes.
Again, I'm not mad about that.
Yeah.
I'm mad about people who think that they're outsmarting comic writers.
And
no, not even me. Like, they think that they're outsmarting the comic books. And like, I could do a whole other podcast and YouTube video about this topic, but the idea that people think that they have to outsmart the piece of media that they're consuming. And I think people try to do that with Batman. If it's just a joke or a meme, that's hilarious. I love that. I love seeing those memes and I love seeing those TikToks. But it's the people who genuinely think that they're providing interesting commentary or criticism, and they think they've outsmarted the Batman character.
Newsflash, surface level.
And even the best, like, version of the Batman character has a lot of flaws. Yeah. But it's always criticized within the piece of media.
Yeah.
So, and I'll get into that in a second. And I'm aware that I only have like another 25 minutes before we need to move on to your topic, but I will make a video about this where I go into it in a lot more depth, and I'll do research because this is kind of more off the cuff.
Yeah.
So this is just something that I've been seeing a lot of. So I do think the Arkham games, because it's an action game and you have to be able to beat people up, at a moment's notice and whenever you want to, that goes a long way to making people think that that's what Batman does.
Yeah.
But it's a video game. You have to create these caveats for video games to allow for fun gameplay.
Yeah.
And even then, the Telltale games, because you're aware of what Telltale games are.
Yeah.
For anybody who, because it's not a very popular form of gaming, if people don't really
Is
know
that the
games.
one that where you make the decision and decision effects?
It's choice based. You don't.
They're my favorite. I love games like that. I need to find more that I'd actually like.
I mean, Telltale is the name of the company, I think. So they have The Walking Dead, they have Back to the Future, they have 2 Batman games.
Until Dawn might be my favorite. I don't know if it's made by
I don't think it's the same company, but yeah.
I love Until Dawn. I haven't played it myself, but there's a PS5 remaster, and I'm super excited about it. I'm making you play.
That's fine. I'll make you play Telltale Batman then.
Fine.
So yeah, Telltale games are choice-based games where you don't necessarily, you control your character in the decisions that they make, but not exactly what they do, and that allows for more interesting Batman discussion. And he does beat people up in that game and torture people, but the idea, it's framed as being the wrong thing to do. It's you can decide whether or not you want to torture somebody that you're interrogating, but torturing the guy is very much seen as the bad thing to do. It's the wrong choice. It's the bad decision.
This decision will have consequences.
Exactly, yeah. It's they'll remember this, or this will have consequences.
That
and all
gives
that
me
kind of
so
thing.
much anxiety whenever I see that in any game. It's
Yeah.
this person will remember that. I'm like, oh fuck, I ruined the game. Bad ending.
So yeah, I think I've gone on about the Arkham games, and I mean, yeah, I'll get into those as well numerous times, but I do think that contributes to that idea. Now to talk about what Batman actually is.
Okay.
First Batman story.
Educate the masses. Preach.
I love how I'm starting this as if I'm going to sit here and go through every single Batman comic book ever created. I'm not.
That is a podcast episode that you are doing alone, or a YouTube video that you are doing alone on your channel. Leave me out of that.
However, I will say I look forward to a video covering the first 10 issues of Detective Comics that contain Batman in it on my channel, The Kino Cave.
Shameless plug. Hashtag spawn.
I love how I got really close to the mic there because, ASMR. Free ASMR for them. So,
R.I.P. headphone users.
Okay, anyway. First Batman story. Detective Comics issue 27 is the first appearance of Batman. Anybody who knows anything about Batman probably knows that. Anyway, anybody who considers themselves a fan, it's first fact about Batman. First appearance, Detective Comics issue 27. Who's the main villain in that? Corrupt politician.
Dent.
But no, not Dent.
What?
It's just a randomer. I actually don't even remember his
right.
name. Can you tell that this isn't researched?
No.
But I do remember that because I read the comic recently, and yeah, it's a corrupt politician and gangsters. So, poor people. Politicians.
Wow.
Famously poor politicians.
I feel so bad for headphone users. I am not, lowering... I'll put a volume warning at the start of this. I'm...
Tell you what, here's something for non-headphone users, okay? Come close. I'm going to say it really, really quietly, okay? Hey Siri, okay Google, Alexa.
Just activate. You're being a menace.
I'm being a menace.
You're being an absolute menace to society. Anyway, shut the fuck up. Keep going.
I keep going about Batman. So yeah, that's the first Batman story, and as I alluded to, there'll be a video on it. But yeah, the first 10 issues of Detective Comics that Batman is in, issue 27 to 37, they're all dictators, politicians, gangsters, and mad scientists.
And
what? I'll give you mad scientists for mentally ill, but these mad scientists are also terrorists.
You know what? They're just, villains. Your average... Okay, not average villains, but the villains that you see in, everything.
Batman almost never beats up just random criminals who are robbing people. And when he does stop them, he doesn't beat them up. He handcuffs them. Or he'll give them a chance to stop what they're doing. Or the criminal will throw the first punch or pull a gun on him, and then he's forced to do something. And even then, he doesn't beat them within an inch of their life. It's usually one punch. Like, he subdues them
Yeah.
and then just handcuffs them and leaves them to the police, or like interrogates them, or whatever the plot calls for. And just when you think of like Batman villains, then name a Batman villain. Just give me any of them.
Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn is an abuse victim of the Joker, and aids in his terrorism,
Ivy.
which includes killing children.
Poison Ivy.
Poison Ivy is also a terrorist and fully intends to eradicate all life on the planet except for plant life. That includes cute fluffy dogs.
Kite Man.
Kite Man is a fucking loser. And often just isn't worth Batman's time.
He's just a menace. He's a menace to society, but a
The thing
harmless one.
Silly interpretations of Kite Man with like 50s and 60s Batman. Batman was not allowed to punch people in those days anyway, so it was always just handcuff or whatever. And then in more serious versions of Kite Man, he's usually a murderer, or he's just a loser that isn't worth Batman's time, and Batman doesn't need to beat him up.
But yeah, seeing a trend here.
Exactly, and I mean, I'll just run through a few. Ra's al Ghul, immortal terrorist. Solomon Grundy is a zombie, so Batman can kill him as much as he needs to. The Scarecrow is a terrorist, and I get that a lot of these people are mentally ill, but they are all also people who torture and commit genocide.
Clayface.
Clayface can't be killed and has no feeling because he doesn't have nerve endings, but he's also a murderer.
Thinking.
The Riddler is a mass murderer.
Yeah, that one.
The Penguin is a gangster / politician.
I'm doing horribly. I usually am better at like naming Batman characters.
And look, I could go through pretty much every single Batman villain. The Mad Hatter kidnaps women, specifically young women.
Love that.
And, kidnaps them and tortures them. And,
Fun.
there's all sorts of implications that can go with that.
Let's not think about that.
And, so those are a bunch of Batman villains that are definitely not poor or mentally ill. Batman nearly always goes after corrupt politicians and gangsters.
Theories busted.
But there's more.
Oh god.
So let's... Actually, there's two more kind of main points, and I'll cover them in the next 15 minutes. But to do with Batman, the criticism, that, like, the idea that these people who make these criticisms think that they've got this gotcha thing where they've outsmarted the writers on what Batman is. Pretty much every decent piece of Batman media heavily criticizes Bruce Wayne for his actions. So, do you know what? Name a Batman movie outside of the... No, actually, do you know what? Because, okay, I'll get into this as well, just before we get into the naming convention again.
Okay.
The idea as well is that, if Bruce Wayne is a billionaire whose money would be put to better use. Because this is another one that, again, people think they've outsmarted the writers and the character by saying that, Bruce Wayne invests all his money in like batsuits and cars and stuff and doesn't help the poor people in Gotham City. And Batman is literally a champion. Bruce Wayne, in fact, the philanthropist Bruce Wayne is a champion of the poor and mentally ill in Gotham. He donates heavily to Arkham Asylum to improve their security and their mental health professionals. And yes, I know the villains keep breaking out, but you wouldn't have a Batman story if the villains couldn't get out. Similarly, the Wayne Foundation, which you brought up earlier, is literally a foundation to help the poor people of Gotham City, to help them get out of the slums and to help them live their lives. He also opens orphanages to help young boys who've lost their parents, and girls. Sorry.
How dare you?
Young boys.
Young boys deserve to thrive. Girls, leave them in the streets.
It's because it's the thing about Batman is that he envisions every young boy as being like him.
Holds up Robin costume.
He donates to multiple orphanages that help children who've lost their parents. And look, I don't know because again this hasn't been researched, but this is just all off the top of my head. Bruce Wayne, the point of Bruce Wayne is that he's the billionaire that isn't a dickhead. He's the one who uses his money for the betterment of society.
We should really have more Bruce Waynes in the world.
Exactly. If more billionaires in real life were like Bruce Wayne, aside from the Batman thing, then the world would be a much, much better place.
Looking at you, Bezos. Looking at you, Kardashians.
Yeah, looking at all of them.
Taylor Swift. Yeah, I fucking mentioned Taylor Swift. Deal with it.
And the idea that he dresses up in a bat suit, for one thing, it's out of necessity, because just some things money can't solve. Like Gotham City. And
isn't it canonically in Jersey?
It's in New Jersey, yeah.
I find that the
it's not always, but typically
I
it's
find
assumed.
that so fucking funny.
Because fun fact as well, Gotham City was not the first city that Batman fought in.
Damn.
Gotham they came up with Gotham a couple of years after Batman was introduced. He originally fought in New York City.
Cool.
Anyway, little factoid for you there. What was I on about? Bruce Wayne. He dresses up like a bat out of necessity, but also because he needs to do that for himself, because he doesn't know how to process his own parents' death. Because then people are like, oh, why doesn't Bruce Wayne just get therapy? Yeah, that's the idea. The fact that he never got therapy is why he feels the need to dress up like a bat, and by the time he realizes that he should have gone to therapy, it's already too late and he is Batman, so he kind of just has to keep being Batman.
Yeah.
Anyway, onto pieces of Batman media that actively criticize Bruce Wayne as a character, which means that you're not a genius for coming up with this, because all the movies and games and TV shows came up with this already. Name a Batman movie. Any of them.
Batman and Robin.
It's not a trick question. Batman and Robin. So in that film, Bruce Wayne as Batman goes to charity auctions, and Bruce Wayne, like the character Bruce Wayne, invests into Gotham to improve its science division and all that. That's where the big telescope thing comes from. So helping people as Bruce Wayne. Name another one. In fairness, you started off with like the worst one to cherry pick examples out of.
Dark Knight Rises.
The Dark Knight Rises. Catwoman, when she's dancing with, like, when Selena Kyle and Bruce Wayne are dancing at the masquerade ball.
Mm-hmm.
Selena Kyle literally calls him out for not understanding what it's like to be poor, even though he does, but Selena doesn't know that. Talking about how he was born in like the master bedroom of Wayne Manor and has no idea what it's like to be a poor person.
Uh-huh.
And he's also constantly in dealings with Miranda Tate, or Talia al Ghul, as she's revealed to be later, to improve Gotham City and, donate away all his money to charities that will help. Because at that point he doesn't know that Miranda Tate's secretly a villain. He thinks that she's trying to better Gotham City. And he's also investing tons of money into the renewable energy source that eventually gets turned into an atom bomb.
Not his fault, but whatever.
Go with, I'd say 2 more, and then I think just completely go away from the Nolan verse now, because
The Batman. So
conversation with the what do you call someone who's like running for mayor? The woman who's running for mayor in the Batman.
The candidate.
When they go to the funeral, she says to Bruce Wayne, your family has a history of philanthropy, but as far as we can see, you're doing nothing. Like, that quote is almost verbatim because it was in one of the trailers.
Huh, okay.
As well, Alfred admits to Bruce Wayne in the hospital scene that, oh yeah, I didn't know how, like, you were a really angry kid and I didn't know how to raise you, so all I could do is teach you how to fight. And that's why Batman is so brutal in that movie, because Alfred admits that he shouldn't have raised him the way that he did. And by the end of that film, Batman, because people are going to bring up like all the scenes where Batman just kicks the shit out of a bunch of people, which at the beginning, because I've heard this one where it's like, oh, Robert Pattinson's Batman just immediately beats the shit out of a bunch of guys in a train station for seemingly just threatening somebody.
Yeah.
For one thing, they were kicking the shit out of some guy and filming it, and it's also established that they've been doing that all fucking night long. They've been filming themselves beating up women.
Love that.
Now, would you say those people deserve to get their asses kicked?
Yes. Over and over again.
But even then, literally 5 minutes after that, when Bruce Wayne has his inner monologue, he says this is not working because crime is up. And by the end of the movie, he realizes that instead of just beating up criminals left and right, he needs to save people and become a figure of hope rather than fear. So that Batman movie actively criticizes every aspect of Bruce Wayne's character, and I hope in the Batman 2 we get more of that, and you know, Bruce Wayne starts to steer more into the philanthropic side. But I trust Matt Reeves that he knows what he's fucking doing.
You trust the process, you trust his vision.
He directed The Batman, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and War for the Planet of the Apes. 3 fantastic films.
Nice.
So I trust that he knows what he's doing. So go with one more.
Okay, what ones have I named? Batman and Robin.
So you've named Dark Knight Rises, Batman and Robin, and The Batman.
What's left on the shelf? Because they can't read from here.
So you have the Burton movies, Batman Forever, the 60s film, and that's kind of it, unless you want to go into like the animated ones.
Batman Forever.
Batman Forever. Well, he adopts Dick Grayson after he loses his parents, but do you know what, that's
yes, the kid that looks like he's in his mid fucking 20s.
That's a poor one. You see him. Fuck, I know it's there, but I have to just think of it because this is off the top of my head. This is a fun game. I should do this more. You see, I know it's at the back of my head what he does in that movie as Bruce Wayne. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. It's been a while since I've thought about that one in particular, but
curveball.
That was a curveball. I was expecting you to go with one of the Tim Burton movies, and I was like locked and loaded.
You told me not to.
No, I didn't say not to.
I'm sure you did.
Yeah, but then I went back on it.
Alright, go on.
In Batman Forever, he does go to charity events, and there's a scene with Edward Nygma, and I know he brings up like something that his science division is doing to help people, but I can't remember what it is. Do you know what? After the podcast is over, I'll just look it up and I'll record myself saying it, and you can plug it in like right after I finish this sentence.
Fine, putting it into my editing time. No, well, I'm doing a disclaimer at the end. I'm sorry, we're just...
Here, 39.
I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to stick it in at the end.
Don't even want to make a good podcast.
I could not edit this, and I could leave you to
phone.
this. I could just leave you to this. I'm doing you a favor.
Okay.
He really hates editing, so he's just not going to fight me on this.
See, I wish there was a visual aspect to it, because then I could just put it in a text box, but I can't.
That's me. I keep like nodding my head and like shaking my head, agreeing and disagreeing with you, but they can't fucking see me.
So I have a better idea.
Better plan.
While you're doing your topic, I'll be looking it up. Because I
Fine.
know it's there, I just can't remember what it is, and it's going to piss me off.
Damn, so you're not going to listen to my topic? Damn.
I'm
Anyways,
going to listen to it.
like, okay, cutting into my editing time, let's go.
Okay, so that's pretty much been my Angry Dome topic. I think I covered everything.
I'm going to be mid-story now, and he's going to be like, wait.
The odds, like, I can see Val Kilmer saying the line, but I can't remember what it is.
Was it something to do with like the TV boxing the brainwaves or something? What was it?
I mean, there's that. Like, he actively like is trying to stop Nygma from doing that, but I know there's a better thing. I think as well, like the circus where Dick Grayson's parents die. That's also like a charity thing.
He does admit he's Batman when your man's like, who was
That's
it?
true. Yeah,
He does admit it,
when
but no one hears him.
Two-Face says, I know Batman's in this room because these are the Gotham elites. Like, these are the people who could afford to be Batman. So one of you either knows Batman and is funding him, or is Batman. And immediately Bruce Wayne goes, I'm Batman, but nobody can hear him because there's
Panic
so
and
much
fear
panic.
everywhere.
So yeah,
there you go. I saved your ass. There you go.
yeah, but there's a thing that Bruce Wayne does with like his power and money and that I can't quite remember. And I know that, like, just briefly, just to throw a few more out there, in Batman Returns, Bruce Wayne tries to stop Max Schreck from making a nuclear power plant that would suck power out of the city. Shrek. And in Batman 89, he hosts like a charity ball or something like that. It's been a while since I've seen Batman 89, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, I think I've covered all bases there.
In conclusion, Batman does not beat up the poor and the mentally
ill.
He
does not just beat up the poor and the mentally ill. Any story where he does do that, it either is a video game where you have to do it to have interesting gameplay, or it's a shit adaptation of Batman, or it's an Elseworlds story. Because, you know, there's like Thomas Wayne Batman who murders people left and right and all that kind of thing. And no, Batman shouldn't kill the Joker. Fuck's sake. But that's another fucking day.
No more Batman. No more Batman today.
Yeah, I'm actually
you're cut off now.
I'm like Jim from The Office. It's like, oh, I'm boring myself.
Okay.
I will make like a well-researched YouTube video about it eventually, where I talk about it really in depth. But yeah, since the discourse was happening like literally today, I thought I'd talk about it, since it's an Angry Dome episode.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, we're recording today because I need to get this out by Monday. Let's go. Pick your topic. Don't care what it is. We're professionals.
We're podcasters.
One could say we care about authenticity.
I mean, do we?
I fucking do.
That's true, I do too, actually.
I was like, are we admitting that we don't care? Okay, not me. Okay. He's actually just researching this right now.
I'm getting it up, yeah.
Okay,
explain, because I know what you're going to talk about, so just explain it to the people.
Okay, my turn to do my angry dome. Now, it's not like Brendan's. It's a bit different. So, those of you... That's a lie. A lot of you may not know that my day job is working in retail. I work in a clothes shop, and you know, when you're working in that sphere, you meet all walks of life. You meet every single kind of person there is. And it's fucking terrible because you realize that the general public are just fucking morons. Anyone in the retail and service industry will say the exact same thing. So this is just not me being a bitch. The general consensus is the same as mine. So, my angry dome today is talking about retail etiquette, because a lot of people seem to need a fucking refresher on it, okay? Because apparently everyone's mother forgot to teach them basic fucking manners.
Yeah, I think I saw, or I was listening to something recently where you can really tell how someone is raised based on how they act around retail workers and waiters and all those kinds of...
And fast food workers.
Basically, you can tell by the way someone acts around service workers how they were raised.
Also, I'm not fucking biased because I worked in the fast food industry before I went into retail, so I've seen both sides. I've been in the trenches. I've worked Christmas Eve, Christmas Eve. Don't come for me. Like, I've seen it all.
Yeah, and just so everybody has an idea, I've never worked in the service industry. I've always been, I've always worked in, like, factories and things like that, which definitely have their own set of issues, which is a whole other podcast topic. So, I'm viewing this completely from the outside, but I will say as well, even before, like, knowing you and you having those jobs, I was always nice to, like, just don't be an asshole. Like, they're not there to take your shit, they're there to serve you.
Yeah.
That doesn't give you the right to be an asshole to them.
Yeah, like, just, no. Just be nice. In the words of Billin's head, be excellent to each other, and party on. That's all we need. Like, okay. Anyways, my angry doll. I've done a video on this on my YouTube channel entitled What Not to Do in Shops. And I'm kind of just reinforcing that with 3 separate stories of actual people I've encountered in my job in the last 6 months. I don't think I've told you all these stories. I may have. I'm not too sure.
I've probably heard a lot of them, but
because sometimes I just come back in such a foul mood. I'm like, you will never believe this fucking cow that I was talking to today. But yeah. I need to get ready. I need to prep myself. Right. First thing that I want to talk about is when a retail worker tells you something, more often than not, it's true and it's for your own safety. What do I mean by this? Basically, the lift the lift was broken where I was working for maybe 2 months. So, like, the lift worked, but on one of the floors, the call button to, like, send the lift up to you was broken. So, you know, we had to go on the walkie-talkies and call, like, the other floors, like, hey, could you send the lift to whatever floor it was, right? And there was a sign, like, on, like, just above the call button, like, ask a member of staff will assist you, lift is out of order, blah, blah, blah. I had this couple come to me. They were like, oh, is the lift broken? And I was like, oh no, it's just the call button that's broken. Like, the lift works fine. It's just you can't call it to this floor because just the button's broken. And they were just like, oh, okay, whatever. And it's like, I called the lift for them. They're waiting for the lift. The lift takes fucking ages because it's a stupid lift. And they're like, is it safe? I'm like, yeah, it's safe. Like, they're like, is there an emergency button inside just in case we get stuck? And I'm like, yes, there is, but you won't get stuck. But they're like, oh, but just in case. I'm like, you will not get stuck. We would not have the lift be running if it wasn't fucking working or it wasn't fucking safe. Like, I'm not joking. These people looked at me as if I was sending them into a fucking saw trap. Like, no, the lift wouldn't be fucking running if it was going to get stuck. Like, I'm not crazy.
Well, if you're not worried about it, take the stairs.
Like, they had a buggy, so they couldn't. But
fair enough.
But, like, see, that was the problem. Like, the floor that where you couldn't call the lift was the floor with all the baby clothes. So it would be families and, like, buggies up there all the time, which was really annoying. But then some people would just want me to call the lift because they were too lazy to take the fucking stairs. But yeah, anyways, that's besides the point. These people looked at me as if I was sending them into a saw trap, and like, you do realize I would get sued if I fucking sent you into a lift that wasn't safe. So you know what? Maybe I know what's fucking best, and maybe I know not to send you into a fucking broken lift. This is the kind of shit I'm dealing with all the time.
Really annoy people who have headphones.
That's the first story I've had to fucking deal with, and like, you remember that day? Because I got barely any sleep that day. I came home and I cried. You remember this? I cried for like an hour because I was just so tired.
Yeah.
I'm a delight to be around. Anyway.
No, like, you had every right to be annoyed, and you know, you deserve to have a little time to yourself that night and just let yourself recover after the day.
I slept for 13 hours. Anyways, my next story, again, it's kind of in the same vein, and I'm pretty sure this actually happened the same day as the lift thing. I was having a very bad day that day, which is why I cried for an hour when I got home, but whatever. Okay, this woman, she comes to the till asking to do a return. I was like, yeah, no bother. can do that. She has the receipt. Everything's fine. She just wanted to exchange it for the exact same thing, but a different size, which was fine. So I do the exchange, but there is a price difference because when she bought it the first time, it was a 3 for 2 item, so she got it for cheaper than what it would be normally. And I explained to her, I was like, look, there is a price difference because you got it discounted the first time. And she's like, but why? I'm doing a direct exchange or whatever. And I was like, look, I kept trying to explain to her that, look, it was cheaper when you bought it the first time because it was on discount because she used a voucher or something, or it was 3 for 2 or whatever it was. And, that's just what we were meant to do because, it's just how it is. And, like, she's like, and then the husband, oh my god, the fucking husband, he comes up to me, because he's standing next to her, and he's like, why can't you just respect the fact that, like, it's a direct exchange and that, it's a direct exchange. Like, every other store would just respect the fact that it was a direct exchange and that there shouldn't be a price difference. That nearly fucking sent me over the edge because I swear this was like 20 minutes before my shift ended. Like, I was ready to take that scanner and throw it at him. Like, just the way he spoke to me, the way he spoke down to me. Like, do not speak down to me. Like, I could just not give you this return. I can ask you to leave right now. Like, do not speak to me that way.
Yeah, like, I have a couple of thoughts off the back of that. First thing, stop acting like you don't make the rules.
No, I don't. I literally just do what head office and the managers tell me to do, and that is what I was doing.
Yeah, like, you're getting paid like minimum wage to just sit there and work. Like, you don't make up any of this shit. Like, you just have to follow the rules so you don't get fired.
No, I woke up and decided to ruin this couple's day.
Yeah,
that's
like,
what I decided
you
to
won't do this. But then, as well as that, and I'll bring this up, I think, when you kind of finished your stories, because this is just like a broader thing, but why would you piss off this person who could help you out?
Yeah. I'm literally, look.
Like, in my experience, if you're nice to your waiter will be nice to you.
Yeah.
Or when it comes to, like, like, if you're nice to a store clerk, and if you, like, even if you're a regular at that store, if you build a relationship with them, they're typically going to be nice to you and do you discounts and things like that. Like, I frequented a comic book store quite a bit, and unfortunately they closed down a few months ago. But because I went there, like, every week for a time, like, I built a relationship with the owner, and he would, like, give me really good deals, and he'd, like, when he was throwing out posters, he'd offer them to me and stuff. So
be nice to people.
Yeah, be nice to these people. Like, if you're an asshole to these people, they're gonna go out of their way not to help you.
Yeah, like, yeah, just that nearly sent me over the edge. And, like, it's just the way they spoke to me. I was like, here, I'm doing you a favor right now.
Yeah,
just
it's like, I don't have to help
the
you.
The moral of this mini story is, like, don't, like, just be nice. Just be nice. But they were pissing me off so fucking much. Like, I was actually getting angry. I just changed the price. Wasn't meant to do that, but I just changed the price to...
Exactly.
So there was nothing. Cause, like, but, like, just the way your man spoke to me just sent me over the edge. I was like, alright, here. Piss off. Don't even have a nice day. Piss off. Get out of my face. But yeah, yeah. And what you said about, like, your man that worked in the comic book store, like, you built a relationship with him, whatever, and he'd offer you posters and stuff. Yeah, if you're a cunt to me, I'm not going to tell you about the 20% offer we have at the moment. I'm not going to tell you. You can pay full price. We will do that. I know people that do that.
Everybody does that.
Everyone does that. And the kicker, a lot of places are charging for bags now. If you're nice, I'll give you the bag for free. I'm not going to charge you.
But you have to be nice. You can't just walk in expecting it.
But if you're...
And also, don't walk, because I feel like we might be teaching the wrong lesson here. Don't go in being nice expecting that stuff.
No.
Because, for one thing, they'll see through it straight away.
Mm-hmm.
And often, like, these people can't do it every time.
Yeah, no. But yeah, we see through it. Just be nice just to be nice. It gets you places.
Exactly.
Just be nice. But yeah, no, that fucking sent me over the edge. And Speaking of charging for bags, my final story.
Can I just
interject? No.
Because I did find that Batman moment that I was thinking about.
Okay, go on.
So I don't care if you just leave it in this part or if you put it back to when I was talking about Batman.
I'll leave it right here because I know they were edging. They were waiting for this.
Just so my ass is covered and I'm not like labeled a fake Batman fan who couldn't think of something.
Okay.
I have the exact quote here just for the context. In Batman Forever, the Riddler murders someone and it's staged to look like a suicide.
Oh, yeah,
and Bruce Wayne says, Stickley's suicide doesn't make sense. I want full benefits for his family. And that's him as Bruce Wayne talking to his secretary. So a guy, an employee of Bruce Wayne's, appears to have committed suicide. Bruce Wayne thinks it's fishy, so he wants to give the family of this guy like as much money as possible so that they can remain stable.
Fuck yeah, Bruce Wayne.
And that's all I have to say about that for now.
They were edging. They're satisfied.
I don't believe they were. I just think that now.
I just like making those jokes. Leave me alone. I'm only human.
But yeah, there you go. There it is. I couldn't think of it earlier. You know, like, because again, all this is off the top of my head. It wasn't researched.
Yeah.
But now you have all the context there. And yeah, I'll stop now.
That is all. Okay.
I'm done now.
Like my next.
My apologies for the interruption and the one that I just did there.
You should be fucking sorry. Okay. Anyway.
Your final story.
My final story. The lesson that comes with this one is again, don't be a cunt. I don't know. Can I say that? Don't be an ass. To retail workers.
I think you can say cunt.
Yeah, this isn't YouTube, it's fine. Anyways, don't be an ass to retail workers because half the time we're just doing what our managers and head office tell us to do. Like, we don't decide to, like, wake up and ruin your day by charging 20 cents for a paper bag. We don't choose that. That brings me smoothly into my next story. This was, I'd say, it was definitely 6 months ago. It was like back towards the start of the year, I believe. I think it might have been January, February time. Place I work at started charging for bags like most places nowadays because, you know, cut down on waste, help the environment, all that jazz. I'm all for it because...
Yeah, it's a small sacrifice for, you know, just a better world.
It encourages people to bring their own bags. You know, it's great.
The greater good.
The greater good.
People will get that reference, hopefully.
Oh yeah. I was like, huh? But yeah, one thing I don't agree with is paper straws, but that's a different thing. Anyways, my place of work started charging for bags, and you know, naturally, this was a big adjustment for customers because they were so used to getting their paper bags for free. You understand he would be a little bit pissed off.
Yeah, you know, as a customer, like you mentioned paper straws, I can't stand them. I know it's good for the environment, I know, but goddamn, I fucking hate them.
You know what? Blame fucking Taylor Swift for commuting 15 minutes in her private jet. That just
yeah. There's not much plastic in straws. Come on.
Anyways,
but yeah, as someone who frequently consumes products, when there's a change, it's annoying. It's
annoying, but like
I don't go and take it out on the people selling it to me, but yeah.
No, but yeah, naturally, bit of an adjustment period for like all the customers. We do say when we're asking the customer, "Do you want a bag?" We say, "Would you like a bag for 15 cents or 20 cents, whatever it is."
Pretty much everybody. Like
we let them know
in any shop they say, or if they have like usually paper bags are free, but then they'll say you can have a plastic one for 25 cents or whatever.
But yeah, no, I said, oh, like, do you want the paper bag for however many cent it was? This woman that I was serving, she goes like, is it a paper bag? And I was like, yes, it's a paper bag. We just started this recently, you know, it's a new thing that we're enforcing to...
I guess those are the big, really sturdy paper bags though. Like, they're the really good ones.
They're not.
Oh shit.
They're the Primark level bags.
Yeah.
Again, it's to encourage people to just bring their own.
Yeah.
It sucks, but you know. To be fair, it's not as much as compared to other places. Other places are charged nearly 90 cents to €1 for a shitty paper bag, so you know what?
Yeah, I think what we're talking about now just kind of goes toward that idea of we get that this is annoying.
Yeah, we know
but
it's annoying.
We don't condone taking it out on the people who do not make these decisions.
Yeah, no, like, I will say right now, I don't charge people for bags unless you're a cunt to me. If you're a cunt to me, I'm charging you for a bag. Or if you ask me, is there a charge, I'll say yes, because technically that's what I meant to say. If you just keep your mouth shut, I'll give it to you for free.
And you know what, it costs nothing to pay someone a compliment or be nice. You know?
Exactly. Anyways, I say it's however much for the paper bag. And she's like, for a paper bag, and I was like, yes, it's a new thing we're enforcing to, cut down on paper waste and, to encourage people to bring their own bags, it's just for the environment or whatever. And she goes like, is this legal? Like, yells at me. There is a queue behind her. Everyone behind her is like, oh my god, like, what the hell is going on? Like, bearing in mind, this is a quiet day. This is like a random fucking Tuesday in January or February. There's nothing going on.
Yeah, like, sometimes, people can be high strung at times like Christmas and, times like Christmas or maybe there's just the start of summer or maybe back to school time can be an expensive time for especially people with kids, but Jesus.
This woman was like fucking 50 or 60, so if I was to guess, like, she looked about 60. To be fair, if I was to guess, her kids were maybe our age, maybe slightly younger, so whatever. But yeah, she was like, there's a queue behind her. She like yells at me, is this legal? Like, why are you doing this? And I was like, I explained, cut down paper waste, encourage you to bring your own bags, reusable bags, XYZ.
I'm not a lawyer, so shut up.
I'm not a lawyer, so please stop grilling me. Like, she is so angry with me. She's like, why are you doing this? I'm like, well, I didn't wake up and decide this. I literally said to her, it's like, I'm just doing what head office is telling us to do. Like, this has nothing to do with me. I don't want to charge you for a bag.
Yeah, see,
but I'm just, I'm just doing what I'm told so I don't get fucking fired.
Yeah, see, I'd be terrible in retail because I'd just be like, bitch, I don't make these rules. I just do what I'm told. I'm not working for enough money to listen to your fucking ass.
That's what I was thinking. But, I was like, because I was getting embarrassed. I was like, why are you yelling at me? You're 16 years old. Grow up. Everyone else, even the teenagers, like the teenagers that I served, they're like, oh, like, however much for a bag. Yeah, grand, here you go.
Yeah, and teenagers by definition are dickheads. So if you're more of a dickhead than teenagers, like,
then
that means there's something seriously wrong.
There's something serious. But like this woman is like yelling at. She's grilling me to fuck. I'm like, what is happening? I just do you want a bag or not? Like, literally, it got to the point where I was like, okay, but like, not my fault. Just doing what head office tells me to do. And she was like, I'm sure that's not legal. I'm like, well, it is, because everywhere is doing it now. So whatever. That goes back and forth for what seems like forever, but it was like 2 or 3 minutes. The queue's after getting long. Everyone in the queue behind her is like, okay, just like, it's not just that deep.
Shut up.
It's not that deep. It's a bag.
Parents.
And I was like, okay, do you want the bag? Yes or no? And she goes like, I guess I'll have to. I'm like, oh my fucking Christ.
Or you could just carry it under your arm.
No, or I'm not. Was that what she said?
What were you selling to her?
She just got a few fucking tops. I'm like, you could easily put them in your handbag, but whatever.
Yeah, most women have handbags. Just fucking put them in that.
And she goes like, it's free advertising for you, so I guess I should. I'm like, is it really though?
Again, I don't care whether or not you advertise me. Like, clothing store, we don't need your advertisement.
Like, put your shit.
We're worldwide, bitch.
Like, put your shit in a Primark or Penny's bag. I really don't give a fuck. So, whatever. But yeah, it was so funny. She walked up in a huff after I gave her change. Whatever, that's fine. Fucking next person comes up to me and is like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, it's fine. But like, and I didn't go, it's fine, but I just look at them like, and I just shake my head like, I've been dealing with this all week. Because like, it was just a new thing that we started at the start of this year, 2023 or whenever it was. But yeah, that news spread like wildfire like throughout the store. Like, I told no one about this, but by the time I went on my break, People are coming to me, he's like, oh my god, what happened with the bag lady? I'm like, oh my god.
Bag lady.
That's literally what they were calling
her.
her.
Can she be the mascot for the podcast now? Bag lady.
Draw her into the background of
She just has a bag on her head.
Yes, like... absolutely. But yeah, moral of the story, don't be like that person. Just be nice to retail workers, and just don't embarrass yourself. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. That's my angry dome. Well, that wasn't really an angry dome. It's just kind of like funny stories from where I work.
Yeah, so, yeah. Just to stretch the podcast a little bit, another maybe 10 minutes. Because I do have a lot of thoughts on this, and maybe just for the relatability, I'll tell you guys what my kind of attitude is. For one thing, it costs nothing to be nice, and it can often cost a lot to be a dickhead, because the people you're being a dickhead to will cost you.
It's more a strain on your face to frown than to smile.
Yeah.
There you go.
And it's scientifically proven that smiling can improve yours and other people's mental health.
Exactly.
So try to smile as much as possible. Obviously, if you're having a shit day,
you don't have to smile. But
you don't have to smile, and because there's a lot of things about it, especially when it comes to women, like telling people to smile.
You mean men telling people to smile?
Yeah, men telling women to smile.
That's not what you said, though.
It's what I meant.
But they don't know that.
When it comes to women being told to smile and stuff, obviously, you don't have to smile for anybody. I'm just saying, if you can, try to smile when you're talking to people, if you're not having a terrible day, because it costs nothing, and it's just, improves everybody's day, including your own. And yeah, just be nice to retail workers, and if you're nice to them, and especially if it's like, not typically with the big chains like Pennies or
Zara, whatever.
Yeah, with these kind of big ones, these people are working minimum wage. They're not going to be that happy to see you regardless. But when it comes to like, small local businesses, support local businesses, and they're often just run by like a handful of people, be nice and build a relationship with them, and they might, help you out then when you want to buy stuff from them. But I think, and I guess you can, talk about this as well, when it comes to the people who handle your food.
Oh boy.
Because this is the one where I'm really, like, it baffles me. Like, and it's mostly fucking boomers and Karens that are like this, but why would you not be nice to the people who handle your food?
That just reminds me, I'm not sure if it's a movie or a TV show, but it has Ryan Reynolds in it. And it's like based in like this diner or something, and like this woman, they call her a biatch, like the first biatch of the day or whatever, and then like she sends her food back because it's whatever, like there wasn't enough gravy on the mashed potatoes. Your man spits on top of the mashed potatoes to make them all like, yeah, and there's phlegm in it and everything. Yeah. Takes the meat, puts it down his pants, rubs it on the pubic hair and all that stuff. It's like disgusting. They did that because she was an ass. So
yeah, I'm not aware of that film.
I don't know what this movie is. I'll find it on TikTok. I'll find it because TikTok's search engine is actually amazing. You can type in anything and it will give you exactly what you're looking for. So I'll find it via that. But yeah, it's scary. And as someone with food allergies, I'm not pissing off the fucking service people. No fucking way. Because I'm the one who's going to end up.
Do you know what as well? Just because you have to be able to be empathetic and stuff. Obviously, if a waiter or like someone behind the desk at a fast food place is being a dick to you, that doesn't mean you have to be nice to them.
Nope.
I would say still be civil, because again, they're handling stuff that you're going to put inside your body. So be civil, but you don't have to be nice to someone if they're not being nice to you. But if the person is just being friendly and being nice and is happy to help you, be nice to them, leave a tip, help them as much as possible. Like, something I don't get, especially with fast food restaurants and cafes, is not just putting away, your scraps and your dishes and stuff. Like, in Starbucks, if you're in Starbucks, put them, bring back the mug up on they'll usually have like a table, like 4 your used mugs, and
Or
then you just put them all there, and then they take it away whenever it gets full.
put your cup in the bin if it's
And then you know the
to-go cup.
the table is free for new people to come in, and then the staff doesn't have to clean it.
Yeah.
And like, you know, I've heard the boomer thing of like, well, that's not my job, it's their job.
Oh,
And it's
no.
like, their job is to serve you coffee.
The fact that people like our age were raised like, oh, it's their job to clean up after me. No, the fuck it's not.
No, it's their job to serve you coffee. Anything else is extra.
Again,
And
I was in... Sorry.
But also, even if it is their job to clean up, you know...
Make it easier.
Make it easier for them.
Like, even if you're going to leave it on the table, stack like the trays on top of each other.
Yeah,
stack
like,
the stuff on top of each other so I had to make minimum trips to the bin.
Like, this goes for most interactions in general.
Yeah.
But why would you not want to make somebody's day a bit better?
Honestly, those people that like, you know, back when I worked in fast food, like they'd like, you know, put all their stuff onto the one tray and like put the other trays underneath. I'd be like, thank God someone gets it. It's either they've worked in this environment before or they're just amazing people. Either or, I love you. Have my babies.
It's usually people who have been in that situation. Generally people who haven't been in that situation, and again it says a lot to how they're raised and stuff. That they don't do that. Like, and look, again, I never worked in fast food. I've never worked in the food industry, but I know you and I have multiple friends of mine have.
Still do.
But even before all that, I'm like, you know, just take up your tray, dump your wrappings and shit, and leave the tray on the tray rack. And
if your like cup still has drink in it, like they brought it back up to me behind like
pour out the ice and all that.
No, because we didn't have like the ice thing. Yeah. They literally handed it back to me. He's like, just pour that out. I didn't want to put it in the bin. I'm like, thank you, because I have to empty the bins, and I fucking hate when people do that.
Yeah, if there's like a small hole in the bag, that means it's just
everywhere. I'm so lucky I never had to clean the inside of a bin, because oh my god, that thing was rancid.
But yeah, like there's all that stuff of just, you know, it costs nothing to be nice, and if you can make somebody, obviously, you know, if someone's being a dick, you shouldn't feel any obligation to help them.
Yeah.
But you know, if a guy's working like a 12-hour shift, or a girl, you know, if anybody's working like a 12-hour shift and they're having a shit day, you can make their day just a little bit better by cleaning up after yourself so they don't have to do it.
Would also like to point out that the service industry, fast food, and just like, you know, restaurants and stuff, they don't really care about what's legal and what's not when it comes to breaks. Like, I've worked 10-hour shift and only had a half an hour break. It's not fun. I know we know someone that has worked 2 12-hour shifts back to back. And also with barely any breaks.
Minimal breaks, yeah.
So, you know, please cut us some slack.
Yeah, a lot of these places, especially because, you know, the kind of more upscale restaurants will go a bit more above and beyond for their staff, because the staff need to be treated properly, because they're obviously very highly skilled. But when it comes to fast food, they do not give a fuck. Like, they know
we're college students. They know it's our first job.
They'll get the most amount of work out of you for as little as possible. So, you know, again, just if you're, you know, just be nice. Like, just be nice to these people. They're doing a lot of work. Like, they're doing shit work. It's not even that they're doing a lot. They're doing shit work for very little money.
It's the bottom of the barrel.
They're not sitting in a comfortable office in an easy chair fucking typing shit up on the computer.
Nope.
Which isn't, like, you know, it's a job.
Yeah.
But
I wouldn't, like, 9 to 5.
It's not cleaning piss off the floor kind of job.
Someone pissed in the bin in my fucking when I worked in fast food. Like, I was told when I'm cleaning the bathrooms, oh, be careful, there might be needles there. Fuck? I was...
Because people just fucking do drugs in the bathrooms.
I was just freshly 18. I was 18 maybe 3 months. Really? So, you know what? Stop.
Yeah, I've heard stories on like podcasts and stuff of like women taking shits in the sink. In toilets.
Luckily never ever come across that ever.
No, that's in the really shit places.
Thank God I've never come across that.
Like in really shitty nightclubs, that's where that happens. But
no, I think the worst thing was like someone pissed in the bin. Luckily it was in the bag, so I just had to, like, you know, take the bag out and stuff, and there was no leaks, thank Christ. But, you know.
So yeah, this is what these people have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. So if you're a normal person who's not on drugs, then again, just do something to make their lives easier. even if there's nothing you can do in terms of like putting away your food, you know, someone wears a
Yeah.
nice t-shirt, say I like your t-shirt. Or if they're wearing nice jewelry, a nice necklace or something, say nice necklace. Or if their hair looks really nice that day, just pay someone a compliment, you know?
You want to know another thing?
It's good for the soul.
Another thing that happened to me was my first week in the job working at this fast food place. Someone threw their food at me
I knew you
because
were going to bring this up.
fuck yeah, I am.
It's like one of your biggest horror stories.
No,
yeah.
that it was my first week on the job. I say I was there maybe 3 days.
And it was your first job.
It was my first job as well. Like, thankfully this happened like maybe 15 minutes before I was finished. But oh my god, like your man ordered something. He was very clearly on something. I don't know what he was on, but he was on something. He ordered a some sort of chips. Can't remember what it was. I think it might have been like taco fries or something. I don't know. He ordered it, didn't specify, you know, the size, so I'm guessing he wanted a regular. So I was like, yeah, grand, whatever. He walked away before I could ask him. I was like, all right, I'll put the regular through. Put the regular through. It was done. Gave it to him. He goes, I wanted a large. Fucks it at me. I duck. It hits the wall behind me, and he's like yelling at me, and I was like, sorry, like I'm so sorry, I didn't know or whatever. And he was like threatening me. He's like, and I was like, it's literally like my second day here. I'm sorry or whatever. And he goes like, it's gonna be your last fucking day or whatever. I was my first job. It was their week, freshly 18, maybe 2 months after turning 18. I like the managers were upstairs when this happened. So like, you know, if they were there, they would have fucking bayed him. But like, oh my god, I actually still think about this. It was so scary. But yeah, we gave him his large or whatever, and then he fucks off. I was there shaking, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna run to the bathroom. I start fucking bawling in the bathroom because like, it's scary. It's very fucking scary.
And luckily you got no stick from the manager.
Oh no, like if anything, they were comforting me because they're like, it was literally my third shift there.
Yeah, exactly. So.
It was my third shift, and like, you know, like they're like, oh, like I came out of the bathroom and like I still couldn't calm myself down. Like I was still like hyperventilating. They saw I was bawling my eyes. They were like, what the fuck happened? And I told them what happened. Like, you know, the other lads that were there, they backed me up, and they were like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. Like why didn't you call us? And I was like, we had no idea where you went or whatever. But like luckily I was finished in 10 minutes. And they're like, just go upstairs, like relax, like you'll be fine, you know, like have a shot of vodka when you leave or whatever. I was like, we'll do, bestie. But you know, they were nice people. But oh my god, like that was definitely probably my worst experience. So if you feel shit about your like new job or like you fuck up in some way, at least it wasn't that.
And you know, if any of you are hearing these stories and saying, why don't you just quit? I spent I think 7 or 8 months looking for a job and got absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I was so happy.
Trying to get a job in the middle of a city, because I was, you know, going to college in the city, so I wanted a job in the city. It's extremely difficult.
I was lucky I got that job, like that fast food job when I did.
And you got that job pretty much just because they were desperate for people, because they had such bad business practices and people kept quitting all the time.
Yeah. Like as in like I handed my CV, it's like, oh, can you come in tomorrow? And I was like, yeah, okay. Red flag, but whatever, I needed the money, I needed the job. And you know what? I had experience working on tills, working with the public. That's what got me my job in the retail place. So, you know, you gotta start somewhere.
Like, I've worked jobs that I hated because it was the only option, especially for young people.
Oh yeah, it's awful.
This is the only option. When you're a young person with little to no experience, no one wants to hire you. So, because I've gotten this before where I'm like, oh, I fucking hate my job, and like I've been talking to people who thankfully I don't talk to anymore, and they say, oh, why don't you just quit? And I'm like, because I need the money and I won't get a job anywhere else.
Mommy and daddy are not going to support us.
Exactly, yeah. My parents made it very clear from when I was about 16 or 17 that they're gonna, you know, phase out like paying for stuff for me, and I'm gonna have to start paying for myself. So you know, you have to put yourself into that situation, and unfortunately you can't just immediately go into a cushy job with benefits and all that as a young person. Because it's the way it is.
Yeah.
Like the job system pretty much the world over is fucked, but we can only speak, you know, as Irish people. And I know that the UK has similar issues when it comes to
Oh yeah, like
working.
it's all the same.
Yeah, like Ireland and the UK are very similar when it comes to stuff like that because we're so close.
As much as we don't want to
As
be.
much as we don't want to admit it, we are very close countries when it comes to like culture and law and all that kind of thing.
Culture you can.
We are.
Economy wise.
Well, like it's little things that we've taken from each other.
That be careful because we're going to get like shot by
It's
like.
Talking about the British is another angry dome.
That is a different podcast, and we should do that Patrick's Day.
That's great. Yeah,
that's the Patrick's Day next
There
year.
you
That's the season 2 Patrick's Week episode.
But anyway, yeah. So again, just going back to be nice to these people because they can't afford to quit, especially if they're going to college.
Oh yeah.
Because if you're going to college, there's about a 50-50 chance that they have to pay for their own accommodation because their parents either can't or won't pay for it. Or they can't commute because it's too far away. And yeah, these people, need to be able to afford like food and social life and books and shit like that, and being able to afford like just laptops and stuff for working and all that. These people need to work these jobs, and you making their life miserable, like in going out of your way to making their life miserable, it's bad for your soul and it's bad for their mental health. So please,
like, I just want to say, the only thing my parents are paying for currently is college, and I'm going into my final year. Once that's over, I'm completely on my own. Like, I pay for like 99% of the things that I do and own and buy like by myself. Like my car payments, getting it fixed, getting it serviced, all that, my car insurance, all of that's on me, and that's not cheap. The only thing my parents are paying for is college, and they always said is like, look, we will pay for your education. That is one thing they have said, like, we will always pay for your education. I'm like, good, thanks, big ups, because
I know we are both in a situation where both our parents have a very reasonably stable lives.
Yeah.
Like, I'd say we're still working to middle class, both of us, but yeah, we definitely have it easier than a lot of people.
Yeah, like we do, and I'm so grateful like for what we have, and like I'm so grateful my parents paid for like my education all the way through to college. Like, hopefully this will be my final year of college, and like that's the last time they have to pay those fees, and after that I'm completely on my own. Like, my car payments all by myself, groceries by myself, rent, whatever. And you obviously like rent, whatever, all that's on me. That's fine, but like, please be nice to me. If you ever come across me in any job, day job, please be nice. We're just trying to get by.
And I mean, like, hopefully you've been listening for the entire like nearly 45 minutes that we've been talking about this, and you've heard these horror stories from us and me through like you've heard my friends' horror stories through me, and we are still in much more stable conditions than a lot of people. So for people who have to pay for their own accommodation and have to pay their way through college, it's even worse for them.
Yeah.
So just
be nice.
And you know what? If you are a nice person, for one thing, well done you, because that's not a lot of people. Like, I'm not being sarcastic. I know it sounds that way.
Yeah.
I'm not being sarcastic. Like, good for you that you're not this dickhead, because.
And thank you.
Yeah,
it means
and
a lot.
You for being that person, but even so, go the extra mile. If the girl that's serving you coffee in your coffee shop has really nice hair, tell her that she has really nice hair.
It really does mean a lot. I get a lot of that in work. Like people have come to me like, I love your t-shirt, I love your hair, because I had funky colored hair until like 2 months ago. They compliment my nails, everything. It really does make our day slightly better.
And don't make weird comments.
No, please don't. Like, any piercings we can't see. No.
Yeah, don't say that.
That was said to me, by the way.
Again, this can be an entire podcast topic in itself, but just really quickly, the difference between a compliment and a comment is a compliment is mentioning someone's choice that they made that day, not something that's out of their control.
Yeah.
So don't comment on somebody's body or their face or something like that. Don't say
Yeah.
you have a really nice face or you have a really nice ass or something like that.
Please never say that. Ever.
A compliment is
I love your nails. I love your
yeah,
hair. I love your makeup today.
yeah, a compliment is commenting on something that they chose to do.
Your tattoos are cool.
Yeah.
That's
so
one I love getting.
stuff that they wear, the way they've done their hair, the way they've done makeup or nails, or you know, a t-shirt they wore or something like that. That's a compliment.
Yes, and it really does make my day slightly better because I
Yeah.
remember the day that like someone said I have a nice t-shirt. I was wearing a merch from a YouTuber that day, and someone came up to me and was like, I really wanted that shirt. I'm so happy you got it. I'm like, thank you, friend. Like, I was nearly crying this day in work because it was just one of my bad days. One of the managers was being an ass to me. I was that made my day. That made me push through to the end of the day. And you know what? Just be excellent to each other. Party on, dudes. And that's it.
Method, yeah.
I think we should wrap up now after that because
Yeah,
I'm getting thirsty and I've no water next to me, so and we yapped on.
We've done about an equal amount of yapping for both things, so just to end on, oh fuck, I had a really good thing to end on.
Damn it.
Oh yeah, to end on, just pay someone a compliment today, and it's good for your soul and it's good for their mental health. And before you go tweeting about how much you know that Batman beats up the poor and mentally ill, go watch a Batman movie and actually think about it instead of just parroting what other people on Twitter are saying.
Tip the people who serve you coffee, smile at the retail worker, just be nice. So on that note, we will see you guys next week. This has been Kiki.
This has been Mister Kino.
And we will see you guys then. Bye-bye.
Bye.